Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly as part of our Roadmap to Recovery series. And you can see I'm joined today by Dame Irene Hays, the owner of Hays Travel. Lovely to see you, Irene. How are you?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. The weather's not so great in Sunderland, but I'm fine. And as you can see, we're all nearly back at work.
Yeah, great. It's great to see you in the office. I'm not there in my office today, but I have been there all week, just at home today. But it's nice that we're all starting to get back to a bit more normality. And look, last time I spoke to you, I think we were talking in March at our Future of Travel Spring Forum. And then we had a little chat when you were made godmother of Iona, which was obviously a fantastic experience, I'm sure. But I just thought it'd be great to catch up with you just around where we are now towards the end of the summer 2021 and to see how Hays Travel are looking ahead, I guess, having been through the summer. But let's just go first to the announcement that we heard last night from Grant Shapps. It was another traffic light review. Different reactions. People are saying it's given us stability. Obviously for holidaymakers who have still got some travel booked, but some people saying they're still utterly disappointed it didn't go far enough. What was your view?
Okay, so what we were hoping for was that we would get Turkey off the red list. And we hoped that we would get some announcement about what might happen in the medium term in relation to the USA. So disappointed about Turkey, pleased that there were no other major destinations taken off the amber, or in fact green list. So I think we've just come to expect that there's going to be an element of disappointment with the announcements, but we're still hoping that when we get to the review, which we're being advised should be in October, that we will get Turkey back. And it's too late for this season, of course. And I think hoteliers in Turkey are so hard pushed that many of them are electing to close their hotels. So it's a real shame for their economy. And obviously we're still hopeful that we will get the USA back in the autumn.
Yeah, okay. And the review you're talking about, Irene, I mean, this is the wider review, isn't it, of the whole international system, not just the countries that are coming on and off. And obviously people there, we're hoping, aren't we, that there might be some simplification of the system to travel overseas. What would you like to see, you know, and how realistic, you know, and obviously we all know what we want to see, but how realistic are our expectations?
Okay, so I think I've talked before that I see this as a quadrant, and you have people in the bottom left-hand corner of that quadrant who either, for one reason or another, are not vaccinated or have underlying health conditions. But the big third group in here are those who are not confident about the process, procedures, and perceived barriers to travel currently. And that is a significant number. And I think that our ambition should be to have a significant simplification of the testing system based on science, based on the vaccination numbers and the infection rates. And it's still progressing. You know, it's not in every country a nice, clean, exponential curve, but, you know, they might have a blip and the infection rates might go up. But if you look at it overall, the vaccination rates are going up and the infection rates are coming down.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that given another 5 weeks or however long it takes for them to make the announcement, we will be in a position where we can have simplification, because within that bottom left-hand quadrant, that's the third biggest factor, is a lack of confidence around the processes to enable people to travel.
Yeah, so you'd like to see, you know, no pre-departure test required for double vaccinated travellers and etc. Okay. On the point around testing, though, I mean, some people are saying that actually, although it's a pain, it does play into the hands of travel agents, because people are so confused. They're having to come and see someone face to face for that reassurance, and you know, and to get the best cost and all the rest of it. And I know you obviously had a deal for testing, and you know, how much, you know, well, I guess how much have you been you've been involved in helping the customer through that process?
Yeah, heavily involved. We obviously have got a relationship with two of the recommended suppliers. First one for doing the pre-departure testing, which, you know, I'm off to Portugal shortly, which is within 72 hours of departure, to go through that testing process. And we have the opportunity for our customers to actually buy that at the same time as the holiday, or if they've already booked the holiday, to buy that from us, and we'll give them all the advice about what they need to do with that. But in addition to that, to safeguard any issues with postage, we have drop boxes in our shops, and our customers do their test within 72 hours and then pop it in the drop box, and then they get their results generally within 24 hours of the laboratories receiving it, not the time when they drop it in the box. Gone really well. Obviously, we're doing big numbers of those, so there's one or two exceptions. There always is. We're coping with that, but everybody gets lots of help and support to enable them to do that. And then the next step is before they return home. And what we have entered into is a relationship with a company who will give us the packs for people to take away with them, pop them in the place, and then they need to do generally that test and have that verified within 2 days when they come home. And whilst it sounds challenging, it's really not. It's a really very simple 3-click process around the verification going out, and I think it's 4 clicks for the other one. And once people are walked through that, they're fine. But nevertheless, psychologically, we still have a big number of people who just don't want to put themselves through that, and it's a significant barrier.
Yeah, so you're saying the reality is that you've worked a system where you now know what you're doing. It's quite simple, but to get everyone, you know, there's a lot of people that still aren't keen. And cost-wise, I think your tests were originally about £45, and then you got them down to 33. Is that where they're at now, or have you got them any lower?
Yeah, that's where they are now. And it's, you know, people are prepared to pay that. And as I say, we make it as easy as possible with the drop boxes and things. But it's the advice they want. It's not a difficult process. It's just like anything, the first time you do something, they're frightened about making a mistake. Yeah. So to have that help and support, I think, is really, really important.
Yeah, okay. And you've obviously supported, as you say, your team through that so they can give that advice. All right, well, that brings us on, really. I mean, we talk about customer sentiments and some people not being keen, but I'm sure you have got some people away. So I wondered if you could just tell me how trading has gone. It obviously wasn't the summer we wanted, but, you know, we are seeing some companies saying they are seeing a pickup, and the strongest week they've had for a while. So what's it been like for you in July and August, Irene?
Okay, well, the good news is we actually made a profit.
Yay!
Yeah, and you know, so it wasn't the summer we wanted, and we're nowhere near where we were in 2019. But I have to say, August has been stronger for us. So the August trading has been very, very good. And I think it's been propped up by a number of different factors. You know, I think the staycations, I think the innovation by the cruise industry has been phenomenal. And the number of people who we've sent on staycations who've come back in and booked a cruise for next year or later on this year.
Who had never cruised before, who just...
Never cruised before, and they've been taken on one of these staycations as a gift, or with family, or just because they couldn't get the holiday of their choice in the UK. And because it's such fantastic value on the cruise ship, and the cruise ship staff have worked so hard, and the programmes during the day, in case you get typical British weather, have just nothing short of phenomenal. So a huge tribute from us to the cruise industry. It's nothing short of remarkable. And in terms of, you know, if there was an innovation award, it would go to the cruise industry for having done that. In fact, we've got customers saying, "Oh, I hope to do it again next year."
Yeah, I know. I wonder if they will. Well, there we go. We'll have to ask them if they're going to keep their ships going round Britain.
Yeah, but so I think so the it's very, very strong. I've got some statistics which I was sharing with our staff last night about how we've been trading and where people are booking, which I can share with you.
Yes, please.
But, so since the 1st of July, short haul has increased significantly from July. So there was a 49% share for short haul since the 1st of August. Long haul's taken 23% share. Cruise overall has taken 23% share, and the UK market just short of 5% share. And in terms of booking now, clearly in July we had more people booking for 2021 because we're trying to get away during August. That has changed. So for 2021, we have 27% of our customers booking for 2021. We have 40% for 2022, and we have 2% primarily cruise for 2023.
Right.
So that 2% is significant for us. And then we've got the winter seasons. Winter 21, we've got 21%, and winter 22, 9%. And they're literally hot off the press with only a couple of days to go. So,
and Irene, how do those figures compare to what you would normally see? I mean, obviously we know it's been a very late market, hasn't it? Because people have been waiting to see where's open, and they're trying to get away, as you said. So that would account for those 2021 bookings. But what about the forward bookings? You're seeing people committing, earlier now.
Yeah, I don't have the precise figures, but I can tell you that the figures for booking for 2022 or a year ahead are much higher than they would otherwise be. You would generally have more people booking for later in the year. So there's still that reticence. But we're very, very pleased. We're very, very pleased, particularly with the cruise share. And I really do think that the staycations as a taster for the cruise experience has been a huge success. And we're seeing the benefit of that because of we did support staycations.
You really marketed them, didn't you? You thought it was it was something to sell, wasn't it? When there was not much else to sell, it was something tangible, and as you say, good value to sell.
Yeah. Well, they had 275,000 beds to fill in 8 weeks. And we looked at that and translated that into a potential opportunity. And we looked if we could just convert even our normal share, but we've converted more than our normal share. And it's definitely got our customers' appetite whetted for the future. So well done the cruise industry.
Yeah. And on the forward bookings, Irene, I know you said the 2023 ones were sort of largely cruise, and then the 2022 ones what are people booking? Is it they're just locking in their European Mediterranean holiday, or are they going further afield? Are they trading up, spending more, traveling for longer? Can you see any of that?
Okay, so a higher percentage of long haul, and people are still spending more. So the evidence that we have is that they are spending up to 18% more. So what we would traditionally see in the forward bookings on long haul, people are moving up a grade. So if they were going 4-star before, they'll go 5-star, but they're going further afield. And we're really happy with the forwards, particularly around the long haul and specialist market, because as you know, we took some colleagues from Glasgow specifically to put together some specialist product and long haul, and they've been fantastic.
Yeah. So is this, are you able to sell a lot of your Hays tour operating program then? Is that, as I know that was that was kind of why you took on the T2 ex-T2 staff to really develop your own program. So that's going well, is it?
Phenomenally well, yeah. But I mean, we sell a lot of other people's long haul as well. Yes, it's very, very strong. But people, I think there's been a general trend over the years for people to become more adventurous anyway. and to want to do different things. So the specialist market's very strong for us. And Twin Centre is stronger than it's ever been for us. People are wanting to perhaps do something educational and informative or cultural, and then do a flop on a beach. Yeah. So 5 and 5. So we're finding 5 and 5 is working really, really well. So yes, it's different, and definitely.
It's very interesting, these trends, because we might have been edging towards some of them anyway, but it sounds like perhaps the pandemic has accelerated some of these changes in consumer behavior, that, and I guess you see that because you're right on the front line of what customers are feeling, their sentiment.
Oh, yeah, we are. We take customer sentiment really seriously, and clearly we try and plot it both empirically in terms of the data of customers who are coming in, have they booked with Hays before, and how they're feeling, which is why I can tell you explicitly about what the barriers to people going on holiday are. But in terms of some of the information, it's just coincidental that I was doing this presentation to our head office staff yesterday. It's really interesting about the customers coming into Hays Travel who haven't booked with Hays Travel before and haven't booked with a high street travel agent for a long time. So we had the analysis pulled from 2017 to 2019, and we took the average of new to Hays Travel.
Yeah.
At that time, and at that time it was 19% new to Hays Travel.
Right. Yeah.
We have added to that the Thomas Cook database, because obviously we acquired the license to operate in October 2019, so we've added that in.
Yeah.
So we're then now looking at a situation where from the 1st of August to yesterday, when we pulled the figures for the event, we have 56% new to Hays Travel.
And that's including Thomas Cook, so they're not your added Thomas Cook customers, that's just new to coming into your company.
Yeah. Yeah. So, wow. So 19% to 56%, and they're coming in either perhaps because they couldn't get through on a telephone line before, they couldn't get a response to a query, they might have had an issue with a refund, they would like to book with a person rather than online. Now, how long that lasts, I know not, because we know how successful online is. But at the moment, and it's been an increasing number, but it's never been this high. And so we really have probed, and I thought we can't have gone from 19
to 56. Yeah,
56. We have gone from 19 to 56, and we've all crawled over it to make sure that we're not misunderstanding something. But obviously I always say this, but the staff have been absolutely outstanding for Hays Travel. They really have. They've been incredible in their flexibility around flexi furlough, around working from home, around coming in, around doing Zoom calls, around doing virtual.
Yeah,
they just have been extraordinary.
Yeah. And fantastic that customers are obviously really realizing now the worth and the value of a travel agent's knowledge and expertise and that reassurance. It's amazing.
Yeah, so obviously we were delighted with the Which survey when they surveyed 4,000 people who had a package holiday who were unable to go between March 20, Feb 21 to establish whether or not they would go to the same company again. And we were very happy and surprised that was such a high number, but we put that down to the staff. It's the staff who've given that quality of service, the staff in head office here, but the staff out everywhere really, who've just come, our home workers, and the same is true, I think, our IG members.
Yeah.
I think we've tried to do that customer support as best we can, and who knows what the contributory factor is, but definitely for us, it was a shocking shocking result. We've seen that climb and climb, but never as high as 56%.
Yeah, you weren't expecting it to be that big, and that surprised me as well. Well, look, it brings us on nicely to talk about a little bit more about staff. Irene, we've talked about it over the pandemic, haven't we? Because you had to make some difficult decisions. Everybody did. And of course, furlough is coming to an end next month, the end of September. So can you just update us where you are? I know you had some on furlough, some on flexi furlough. You mentioned that just now, and but then you were also bringing people back into shops, some on a hybrid basis. I know that's when we last spoke. So where are you now with the team? And also, I know you had a bit of a recruitment drive in July. So balance it all out for us. Tell us where you are.
Okay, so we are not using furlough at all in retail shops anymore because we're selling so many holidays. So there's no furlough in the shops at all, and we're still short of staff in the shops, as are the other travel agents. So we have about 400 vacancies across the country, in which is really significant.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, we also have about 450 apprenticeships. Now we're well through the recruitment for that, but we're still not up to the 450 apprenticeships. And I know you know we love our apprenticeships.
Yeah.
A big number to take on in a pandemic, 450.
Yeah.
But we're on the way to that. And in head office as well, we're finding the employment market is buoyant, even in Sunderland, you know, which traditionally has had its challenges around employment. But even here and in the northeast, the market is buoyant, and therefore we have vacancies in head office too. So it's been a challenge. We're still using furlough to a certain extent in head office in some areas where the business is not back. For example, foreign exchange isn't back yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and we need to see what's going to happen in the autumn with foreign exchange, because we're out of euro holiday time now and into dollars time. So we won't have any dollars to sell. So selectively we're using furlough, but nowhere near where we were in, say, June and July.
Okay. And so but it's obviously a few weeks away now when it ends. So at that point, if you have been using it, what will you end up doing?
Well, I think, you know, we multi-skill our staff, and our staff have been fantastic in helping us out in working on the different parts of the business and new businesses that we've moved into. And we've expanded those parts of the business and branched out into other fields. So we tend to ask our staff to help us out in those areas when they're not fully occupied. And when we can't take furlough, that's what we'll do.
Okay, so you're not anticipating any redundancies. You'll find other work for them to do in the business.
No, we're not looking at any redundancies at all at the minute. We need to see what happens with the pandemic, and you can never say never. But no, I mean, we've managed to hold on to the vast majority of our staff because of their flexibility in working from home, and because of our policy around customer care, that we just couldn't provide the customer care and have furlough. So no, we're not looking at any redundancies as a result of furlough.
And these other areas you talk about that you've branched into, non-travel areas, we've talked about that. I mean, there may be others I don't know about, but certainly you did some of the NHS contracts. Are they now coming to a close, or are there still functions that they require you to perform and that you can carry on doing a bit of that to keep your business going?
Yeah, we'll carry on doing a bit of that. It clearly nowhere near where we were in 2020, but we have built on that business and diversified. So, for example, we do helplines for sporting and entertainment outlets. So it's the business processing part of the business. We've now branched out and done more, and we've got a couple of other clients as well. So that I think will continue for a little while yet.
Okay, it's not a long-term thing, but it's something that you'll just keep going until you've got more certainty due to the outlook for travel and the pandemic.
Well, I think we'll wait and see how it goes. Like, you know, we'll wait and see. As you know, we never in Hays Travel say what we're going to do. We always tell people after we've done it, and I know you know that because you told.
But I always ask, Irene. You wouldn't be a chat with us, would it, if I didn't try and get a bit more out of it. Serious question though around the vacancies that you've got.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are telling me, I'm having lots of conversations with people in all different types of travel business, saying they're now struggling to get the talent that they need. So it's like we've lost people from travel inevitably because people were lost, and now we need some of that talent back, but they've gone to other sectors. And so I know you've got your apprentice program, which will help, which has always been great for you, but how do you fill those other roles when you need, experienced travel consultants quickly?
Yeah, well, we're going back to traditional forms of advertising. So clearly, we have a campaign with you and your publication, and we're using obviously the social platforms that you would expect us to use, and we're recruiting steadily, but to have had 400 vacancies. But people have gone off, they've moved into other industries, they've become pregnant, they've decided travel's not for them, or they've enjoyed working from home. So there's a whole range of reasons why. But I'm hearing the same from colleague IG members, I'm hearing the same from other people in the industry. It's a national problem, I think. I don't think it's peculiar to Hays Travel from
No, but I do think it's a concern, and as a leader in the industry, I just wonder what we do as a sector to make travel seem attractive again, when it's quite high profile in the news as having quite a lot of problems because we can't travel internationally where we want to. So it's going to become quite a pinch point, isn't it, if it isn't already?
It is, and which is why we're so committed to apprenticeships. Our training and development, our training and development teams are lovely. They're award-winning and continue to be so. And they've managed our apprenticeship scheme all the way through lockdown. So clearly, I believe that getting the 450 apprentices in place, because that's the future of our industry. And we've done that not for 41 years, but for the 38 years. We've done that and it's worked successfully. If we continue to have this problem, we might consider doing a second intake of apprenticeships, because our training programs so good and the young people are so quick to pick up the technology that there's a good chance we could fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Another tranche of apprenticeships. Normally we would just do one intake a year, but it's something that we'll have a look at once we see how we're getting on with the program we currently have.
Just briefly before we move on, would 450 be your highest intake in a year then? Is that, have you ever, so that's the highest number that you're taking on in a pandemic, and yes. You might take on more. And what's the process? Is it a year's training before they become, it's a 2-year process?
2 years. And in terms of outcomes for young people, we are in the top 1% that if they complete their apprenticeship scheme, we'll keep them.
They get a job. Good
apprenticeship, they've got a job with us, and the parents know that, the employers know that, the schools and the colleges know that.
Yeah.
So it gives parental confidence that we train them properly. We don't get them making tea or doing files. They actually are trained to sell holidays and understand how to look after people well. But I see that as a real solution to this issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we wish you luck with that. Definitely, we'd love an update on that and how that's going. Let's just talk quickly about the shop network. You talked about, this amazing figure of new to Hays Travel, and I'm sure, as you say, a lot of them are wanting to walk into the shops to talk to someone face to face. Last time we spoke, there was still some negotiations with landlords going on, particularly the Thomas Cook shops that you acquired. And we didn't know exactly where that was going to bottom out, really, in terms of your retail estate and the size of the network. So has that moved on at all? Have you managed to negotiate better terms in the pandemic and to keep some more shops open?
Yes, we have. We've managed. We haven't closed any shops since last time I spoke to you. We have had one or two where, you know, either they're developing a shopping precinct and we can't stay in that shop. So I think the last meeting I had, we're down to 19 where there's an outstanding issue. But thankfully, after what seems like a very, very long time, we're coming to the end of the property piece. So there's 19, but they're in places we want to be. So the issues are around the state of the property, or that the landlord needs us out because there's a development or for one reason or another. So we've made really good progress, but it seems like a long time since October 2019 when we embarked on this journey.
I know, I remember we did that dinner together, didn't we? And we were all listening, and of course we had no idea the pandemic was around the corner, and that, you know, it was just a challenge in itself, having taken on Thomas Cook and all those staff, and then you had all this to deal with. Okay, so it sounds like you're there, or 19 is a small number now. All right, and then let's just talk about other developments then. So I think we all think of you, don't we, as this sort of the high street retailer, but you've got your franchisee model as well, and you've got your IG members. So and you acquired, in terms of the franchisees, you acquired Explorer Travel, which gave you another 70. I don't know where you are now in terms of your franchisees, but it's something you've said openly that you're looking to grow that part of the business.
Yes, so we launched the franchisee model at the beginning of July, which was a soft launch. But we've been really pleased with the response for that. And the reason why we've launched the franchise model is that I know that a lot of smaller retailers who still want to stay in travel just need the confidence of perhaps a bigger organisation and the advantages that the bigger organisation brings, in terms of commercial deals primarily. I mean, our focus, be it IG or franchise, is always to focus on the profit for the person who's running the business. So we've got very clear structure around trying to do that, but we also help out with technology, with training and development, and marketing. So and advice on property, the property piece. So, but if people have already got a small business, it's a great opportunity to have a look at a different model, either the franchise model under the Hays Travel brand, or the IG model, which is also, we've made another couple of appointments into IG recently, which we'll announce. So they're two slightly different models, but both with the same objective. So the people who've got a business who perhaps don't have the commercial deals that we have can work alongside us, and we'll help them to be the best they can be in what I think is quite challenging times for lots of smaller businesses.
Yeah, and so some that perhaps the pandemic has made them want to have that sort of support network of the and that's the timing of this is good for some of those smaller companies.
Yeah, and the success that we've had is one of the reasons why we've done a bit more marketing around it, because we get natural, organic applications into our IG, our home working, and our franchise. So we just thought we'd give it a little bit more of a profile at this point in time, because of what you've just said. It's been a tough time during the pandemic, but these people have got great businesses, they're great people, passionate about what they do. They just need a slightly larger team. Yeah. And we've got 500 people here who wrap their arms around them and look after them, and hopefully build them back better for travel for the future.
Yeah, brilliant. And I know when we spoke 2 times ago, you said you were getting lots and lots of emails from people. I mean, that was, I think, when the pandemic had first sort of started. And so this was about potentially selling up completely, not just joining you and still continuing, but selling up completely. And you were at the time saying, well, you'd look at everything, but you can't, there was a lot going on. So are you still getting those kind of things across your desk? Are you still considering, are you still acquisitive? Are you still looking to, add to your own network?
Well, yeah, we look at them, but they're still coming in, unfortunately. It's really sad. So we're still looking at them. Yeah, we look at every single one. Anybody who's kind enough to approach us, we'll have a good look at it.
Okay. All right. But nothing on the, you don't want to tell me anything you're going to do, but is there anything imminent in terms of You know, because the Explorer one with the franchisee, that just sort of suddenly came out of nowhere. I mean, is there anything that's on the cards imminent?
Well, we've got a couple of things ongoing, which we might move forward on and we might not. So I think that's about as much as I can say on that one.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. And then you just mentioned that you've got a bit of an update on IG that you'll tell us hopefully soon. But you obviously got a new boss that you put in there. Natasha Marsden has joined you. So, and I think she took over from Jonathan because he's now doing his bigger commercial role. So how, you know, how's that going with Natasha in that new role?
Yeah, really, really well. So we had Natasha, who was one of our speakers last night for the staff, telling us where she's up to, and she's a real force, passionate about supporting the IGs, passionate about the industry. She's worked for just about every travel company that you can imagine from the early 1990s. So lots of experience, and it's paying dividends. So, you know, as I say, we've always had a natural stream of applications and haven't really been big on promoting it. And you know, I think the point you made about the current climate, I think people are just looking at alternatives, even if they haven't made their mind up yet. There's no harm in having a look at the different models which are available, and we're getting a lot of those at the moment.
Yeah, and I suppose because of that, then we could see the retail landscape continuing to change. I mean, obviously, since you and I have been doing this, it's changed an awful lot in terms of, you know, the high street. And you know, what do you see happening in the high street? I mean, just in terms of high streets generally, where we're seeing lots and lots of shop closures. You know, you're saying that actually retail travel agencies are becoming more important, and you're getting more people coming in. But how do you see the travel industry panning out in terms of acquisitions? Maybe not just you, but other people and the high street generally.
Okay, I think the position hasn't changed from where we are. We still see a future in the high street. We still see digital and virtual developing at the same time. So I think that's been the case for a long time now. I think the pandemic might have slowed down the online a little, but I think it would be naive to think that that isn't going to continue to grow. So we will just continue to watch how they both develop. But at the moment, we're still committed to the high street and obviously to channels too.
Yeah, and in hand in hand, isn't it, really, all the stuff you're doing with your social, you know, you do loads on social to drive people, you know, to your website, and then I guess they might come and see you in the shop. But, you know, it is a sort of dual strategy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it's one of the reasons why we knew we could make Thomas Cook work at, and the fact of our independence, that we weren't encouraging people to vertically sell as a first option. So yes, I think it's still part of the mix, but we watch it very carefully, Lucy, as I'm sure you can imagine. We're not breathless about the high street at all. If the high street wasn't working for us, we would respond as we do with most things.
Yeah. So you're basically following the customer, and you as you should. Okay. All right, Irene. Well, look, it's good to talk to you. I did just want to ask you, you know, these decisions you're having to make and going through the pandemic and all these difficult, obstacles that we're facing. You would be sharing those decisions with John. It must have been really hard having to do this. I know you've got a fantastic team around you, but I wonder what you think John would have made of the pandemic going on as long as it has. Some of the government decisions that we've had to kind of contend with, and the difficult things. How would he, what would he be thinking about this?
I think probably firstly he'd be surprised, that here we are in August of 2021, and we're still really deeply in the middle of a pandemic, and none of us know how far it is until we're through it completely. So I'm sure, like everybody else, he would, he would be shocked just how long it's taken. I think he'd be saddened by the impact on a number of great people and a number of great businesses and the decisions that they've had to make. I know he would. I know he was passionate about travel and travel people.
Yeah, not just Hays. He was passionate about all the people he knew. Exactly.
No, he paid tribute to all of our competitors, and he constantly talked about the things that they were doing better than us, constantly, and we still do that. We still pay tribute to where our competitors are doing something really, really good. So I think he would be shocked at how long it's gone, and saddened by the impact that it's had, and I hope pleased at the way that the fantastic team at Hays Travel here have dealt with it.
Yeah.
They've been nothing short of extraordinary.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm sure he'd be so proud of them. Really proud of you as well. We love talking to you, Irene. It's great to see you, and I wish you a good holiday. It's great that you're going overseas. You're off to Portugal tomorrow with your family, so have a wonderful time, and we look forward to seeing you when you're back, and I hope things do continue to get better. Some of those stats that you've shared with us are encouraging, aren't they? So let's hope that we continue in that trend. We're really grateful for your time, Irene.
My pleasure, and I just hope we can all get together again and see each other in person soon.
Oh, well, we'll see you soon. Definitely, we've got a few events coming up, so we look forward to seeing you there. But for now, thank you very much to Dame Irene Hays from Hays Travel.